laying the foundation. We're talking about things you may already think you know. We'll just dig it up again. Part 6, the title of the day is The Real You. Okay? And I need to, let me go back and see the picture. I want you to burn that in your mind. I want you to understand, if you're looking at the one on the left, that's what the devil wants you to see. But he sees the one on the right. Okay, next page. We'll go to Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, when God made man, he blessed him. By the way, he never took that blessing away. I just want to add that.
That's right.
He said, be fruitful and multiply. You know, people say, well, church shouldn't be about numbers. It's all about numbers. It's about how many people that aren't going to hell that are going to heaven. That's what it's all about. Okay? So be fruitful and multiply. He wants you to expand. He wants you to be the biggest self you can be. He wants you to have the fullest of life. The life abundant that he promised. If you're settling for what you're doing and you've got bored, it's because there's something more that he wants you to get busy doing. And it's like sometimes the brook's got to dry up, you know, or the water run out before you finally get up and move. Well, that's sometimes, that ain't God doing it. It's just that's what happens in a drought. Okay? And so, but here's what he said. Fill the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds there, and over everything, living thing that moves or creeps on the earth. In other words, from the very beginning, let me read my note, next page. Man was not created to lounge by the pool while angels plop grapes in their mouths. From the beginning, we were given a job. We were to subdue, conquer, and take dominion over the earth and everything in it. And this is even before there was a devil present. This earth was given to us to take dominion over, to establish our dominance. Except over each other. Right. He never gave us permission for somebody else to dominate another human being. Okay. But he did want you to dominate this earth. Next page. How many of you agree with that? Yes. Deuteronomy 11:31. Even from the very beginning, when God told all the children of Israel, said, I've got a promised land. I've got this land that flows with milk and honey. Well, goody, goody. When does the shuttle bus pick us up in the parking lot and take us the first ride? It wasn't like that. Because he told me, he said, you will cross over the Jordan and go in and what? Possess. Say that about it. The word possess, you can't read it. Possess the land. Take dominion. Take control. They may be expecting you, but they're not going to lay down for you. For which the Lord God has given you. I thought He was giving it to us. He is giving it to us. He's giving it to us to go conquer. That's right. Touch your neighbor and say, it's time for you to conquer. Time to conquer. And you will possess it and dwell in it. That's where I'm going to live. It's something God's given me that He wants me to live in. That current status does not yet belong to me. I have to go get it if I want to live in it. Next page. Hebrews 4:1-2. This is a new covenant. This is what Paul was writing. I think it's Paul. Therefore, since the promise remains of entering His rest, let us fear lest any of you should seem to come short of it. How many of you know that right there are promises that belong to you that if you don't do something, you'll come short of them.
Right. Yes.
They're already yours. They've already been bought and purchased with the blood of Jesus, and they belong to you. And they're in that book you're holding. But until you go in and possess them, you'll not have them. Amen. For indeed the gospel was preached to us as well as to them, but the word did not profit them because it wasn't mixed with action, with faith. You can know all about it. You know what? How many of you, don't raise your hand, but how many of you had somebody speak a word over you, prophesy something over you all my life? And it's like, and what most people think is that's their cue to just fold their fingers and look up toward heaven. No, you know when somebody gives you a prophecy, that tells you what is possible. Right. I've heard it said like this: prophecy is the mold in which your history, your future is poured into. But if I don't go do it, if I don't listen for His voice, if I don't obey His word, you know what? That promise, I'm not going to ever enter into that territory. Right? Next page. Yes. If I get anything today.
Yes.
John chapter 8, let me get some water. That's right. He said, if. That's the biggest word in the Bible. Okay. What does if mean? It means if.
It's conditional.
It means there's a chance that you won't. That means there's a decision on your end. I need everybody to hear me today.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on.
Because I'm going to tell you something. Traditional religion and stuff has taught us that, well, the good Lord has a plan. He does have a plan.
Yes.
He's got a mighty, awesome plan. But it's like this. He's not up there. You're not floating down the lazy river on an inner tube. It's up to us to make good choices. It's up to us to inform ourselves. It's up to us to follow Him. Be filled with the Spirit. Speak His word. Pray. Intercede. Do the things He's called us to do. If I want to be where He wants me to be at the end of my life, I got to be moving and I got to be doing something. If you abide in me and my word abides in you, it says, you are my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now here's the thing. Some of you say, this quoted like the truth shall set you free. The truth doesn't set you free. The truth makes you free. There's a big difference in that. Because if I get free, I'm still the person that was in the jail. But when I'm made free, I'm never intended to be in another jail again. That got me fired. Next page. Well, what does truth mean? Truth frees you. Truth cleans you. Truth protects you. Truth dispels all lies. Truth ends every argument. Truth lights your path. And truth is how you identify yourself. You may look in the mirror and see that little kitty cat, but God wants you to understand that's what you see in the natural. But if you can see who you are in the spirit, you'll never be afraid another day of your life.
Okay, you're right.
And the key word in that verse before is the word know. Next page. It said you'll know the truth.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you've got it in your head, or you can define what the word know means, or what free means. It's this. When you know something, it's resolved.
Okay.
It's resolved. If I ask everybody to raise their hand, how many of you know your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life, and everybody's hand goes up? How do you know? Have you ever seen the book? No, you just know, right? When you know, right? It's something I've settled. It's not up for debate anymore. I'm not putting it out there for your opinion.
Right.
It's resolved. I feel it. I perceive it. And the most important part is I know it so well that it begins to come out of my mouth. In fact, the word is gnosko, and it means to know and can speak. When you know what you know that you know and you can talk about it, then you know what? You don't have to refer to notes or go listen to somebody else's preaching sermon. You know exactly what you're talking about because it's in here, right? Next page. Well, when you know the truth, it makes you free. So how many of you know it's to your benefit to know the truth? To get in there and dig. And you know, there's a lot of truth. You're not going to know it till you go through it a whole bunch.
That's right.
In fact, some of this stuff I'm telling you right now, I'm having to relearn and re-identify with. It's like I said up here earlier, trusting God. We think that's such a mundane, elementary thing. It's everything. Yes. Trusting Him is everything. I'm trusting my eternity to a verse in that Bible. Right. If I call on Him and believe in my heart and confess that He is Lord, I'm saved. That's what that says. And I've based my eternity on that knowledge. Yes. But things happen and things, don't go the way you want them to. And tragedy happens and turns and stops in the road. You thought you knew you were God and the road ended. What do you do with that? Well, then you got to go back and reassess. Yes. You got to go, do I trust Him or not? Right. Because if I'm going to trust Him with my eternity, I got to trust Him with the here and now. Yes. 1 Corinthians 2:9 and 10 says, "Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor has it entered the hearts of men, the things which God has prepared for those who love Him. But God has revealed them to us through His Spirit." That means that right now in the world, there are things that have never been seen. Never been heard. It hasn't even entered into the hearts of men yet, that God has prepared and ready to reveal just to you. But you got to be looking. You got to be seeking. You got to be learning. You got to be proving yourself faithful. So He trusts you. Follow what I'm saying? Because He's not. Look here. If a 12-year-old wants the keys to your car, I'm not going to give them. Are you? I know that's their desire, and they're praying earnestly to Dad, but they ain't getting it because they ain't proved themselves. They can clean up their room yet, much less drive a car.
Come on, right?
That's good.
And so this is where we are. He loves us. He's going to take us to heaven. But He wants us to be ready to use Him. The truest form of the best part of life is being used by God. That's the happiest I've ever been. I've done a lot of things in my life, but the most awesome time is when I know I'm in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm being poured out, he's using me, and it's just like that's what life's all about.
Yeah.
Next page. Matthew 11:12. Here's where we're getting the meat of it. You ready?
Yes.
About the time that we were graduating from high school, at least I know in the Methodist hymnal, they start taking out the offensive hymns. Ones that talk about blood and the one that onward Christian soldier, that was just too offensive. Now they just throw the book out. But anyway, and it was like one of those things to where this passive element was introduced to the church. And it was almost like we just want to make nice, we want to be nice, we want to be community oriented, la 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 la.
Right.
But I'm here to tell you that if that's your attitude about just taking whatever comes and I don't want to offend anybody, you're never going to do anything.
Okay.
Not even in life. You're never going to do it, but much more so in the kingdom.
Right.
Because the devil's never going to make you feel good about doing what God says. Ever.
Right.
He's going to fight you tooth and nail. He's going to remind you how embarrassed you're going to be when this doesn't work. He's going to put obstacles in your path so that you can't get where you want to go just as easily as you want to. But somebody has got to want it bad enough to say, you know what? If it knocks me down, I'll just get back up and keep on going.
Right. Right.
Matthew 11:12 says, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, not violins.
That's right.
Okay.
Violence.
Okay.
And the violent take the kingdom by force. Why do we have to take the kingdom? Because the devil's squatting on it and he didn't want you to have it.
Yes.
As long as people are here that need to be saved, the devil's got a temporary lease on the earth. Everybody born is under his control from the get-go. And so he's squatting on our benefits, squatting on our heritage, squatting on our inheritance. And until we go up there and make him let it go. At Luke 18.
Come
One
on.
of my favorite stories in the Bible, because it's a parable. Jesus made it up. He could have done anything he wanted. He could have said that, God caused Andre the giant to go up and bang on the door of the wicked king, but he didn't. He picked the weakest character he could in the day. Back in the day when that was written, the most weakest, vulnerable person was a widow. She had no husband to bring her an income. Widows that didn't have anybody to take care of them were either had to resort to begging or prostitution.
Come on.
They had no control. They had no vote. They didn't even like for them to have anything to say. And so this woman, Matthew 18, I think it's in there somewhere.
Luke
Luke 18. I said Matthew 13. Sorry. Luke 18, he said that, and Jesus said, I'm going to tell you a story. There was this woman. There was this unrighteous judge, and he did not have any regard for man or God.
Yeah.
And this little widow woman came and started banging on his door, saying, give me justice for my adversary. Now, you know what? She didn't say, pretty please, with sugar on top.
That's right.
She's banging on this door with her little gnarly fist, saying, hey! Open this door! Give me vengeance! Give me justice for my adversary! And the king, who doesn't care anything about God or man,
Right.
That's what
said,
it
I don't
said.
care about her. But because she kept banging on that door, he said, finally, though I don't care, because she continues to get under my last nerve,
Right.
I'm going to give her.
That's right.
Right. Come on.
In other words, I haven't persuaded the devil to like me. I haven't persuaded the devil that the gospel is the truth. I've just gone up there and said, hey, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you believe. You're going to give me what belongs to me because I have dominion over you. By the way, the widow didn't get on her cell phone and ask God to help her read. There's certain things he's given you that you keep asking him for, and he said, I've already given you that. Use what you've got. Quit asking me for stuff that you already possess.
All right.
Wow.
Next page. Get quietness.
Come on.
Don't say that.
I didn't say it. The Bible. It's only taken me 50 years. Anyway, the Bible is a book of promises. your promises. Let me say that again. The Bible is a book of promises. And they belong to you. But they're hidden. There's certain things that are on the surface. But there's other things that are hidden in there. That until you, why is he hidden them? Because he didn't want the devil to find them and destroy them before you can get to them. So he's going to use a mystery. He's going to use a language in there that the devil doesn't even understand. He's going to speak into your spirit directly as you're reading that Bible. Something else will put just like he said when he spoke to you about that clay. There's no verse that says that Chris is clay.
Right.
But he spoke to you.
That's
And
right.
he's coming through that word. The word you've opened yourself back up to. There's hidden things. But you got to dwell in the word. You got to dwell in the word. Most of us, we're too busy dwelling in television, cell phones, Facebook, Instagram, life, school, work.
Right.
And we've got to carve out a spot. This is olden times, I realize. But I want to tell you something. Back in the day, when I first got saved, we were told we got to have a quiet time with God. We weren't even asked if we wanted to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's right.
We were told to read our Bible. We didn't say if it suits you or you feel good about it or if you feel led. Well, the only place some people feel led is in the seat of their britches. But anyway.
Oh.
You got to dwell in the Word. You got to study the Word.
Right.
Now, y'all heard us before, but one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, my brother gave me a Strong's Concordance. It's like a cinder block. It was the biggest, hardest thing to use, small print. But I fell in love with it. Because you look up a word in the English and it had a little number on it, and then you go trace it back to the original language, and it just come alive.
Yes.
And so as I started doing that, I started reading and understanding and knowing more, and it just kind of whets your appetite, and suddenly you want to know more than that. And so, if we dwell in the Word, we study the Word, we show ourselves approved. We can discover these promises. We've got to replace our old identity with the truth. Let me say that again. You've got to replace your old identity with the truth. And this day and age is the hardest thing. And I heard a guy yesterday doing a study on this, and it kind of whetted my appetite. Not from a religious standpoint, but from an absolute practical standpoint about the benefit of taking communion every day. You know, we take it once a month, and I want everybody to do it, but I'm telling you, you can do this by yourself. Because Paul said, listen, the reason some of you are sick all the time, and the reason that some of you are dying early is you're forgetting this benefit. You're forgetting that He has broken for your sin and the blood of Jesus has washed you clean and made you a new creation. You're not the person you used to be. You're not the person that is the sum total of all your memories and experiences. You are who He says you are. No matter what you think or how you feel, you must embrace the truth and let it rule in your heart. And that's just a given. That's from the get-go. And some of us have to draw a line today and say, this is the last day I'm going to be identifiable as the person I was. I'm not going to be identifiable as being shy or backward. I'm not going to be identifiable as being guilty or under some sort of condemnation. I'm not going to be identifiable as the one that's perpetually wounded from something.
Okay.
This is the day I quit being a victim and I start being the victor that takes dominion over my world.
Yes.
Next
Yes.
Luke 5:18. I'm going to tell you 3 stories. I want your attention because this is my just come unzip part.
Okay.
Jesus was at a place and all the preachers and the doctors of the law and the teachers of laws and rabbis showed up. Basically, they filled the house so that the people who really needed to get in there couldn't even get in. In Mark's gospel, it says that when he began to teach them and the power was present to heal. Well, there it was. But then it says these 4 guys had a friend or a brother or somebody that was paralyzed. And they decided, if we just get him in that room, we won't have to carry him back home.
That's right.
Now, boy, that's bold, and that's somebody that's made a decision. And it's more than just saying, be warm and be filled. I hope you get there. I'll be praying for you. Now, they did something about it because they were so convinced that if they got him in the presence of the Nazarene, something would be changed. But there was a problem. Couldn't get in a door. Couldn't get in a window. And most people right there go, well, I guess it just wasn't God's will.
Come on, brother.
Well, we've all said that, but at some point, you might want to think, you know what? I don't even have to ask if it's His will. I got it in my book.
That's right.
He's already told me that this is my promise, but I need to go in and possess the land.
Yes.
They climbed up on the roof, and we make so light of this. Have you ever tried to carry a limp body? You know, I've seen movies where little women got them out of the trunk. That ain't going to happen. I'm telling you, it's just the heaviest thing ever when there's no life in it.
That's right.
And so these four guys had to haul this guy up on top of the roof, and then they had to make a real decision. If we really believe this, this is going to cost us a bunch of money. We're tearing a hole in the guy's roof.
Right.
And they had those clay, shingles up there, if you will, those clay porcelain things. That's how the roofs were. They had to tear all that stuff loose, break back the thatch, and they made a hole big enough to lower a guy on a stretcher through it. So we're talking about something that's 6 by 4. And I'd like to have been in that meeting when all of a sudden the stuff starts falling out of the ceiling.
Right.
You go, what are you doing? And they lowered him down in front of Jesus, and he was healed. You know why? Because they got to the point in their life where they said, you know what? I don't care what it costs.
Ooh, come on.
I don't care who I offend. I don't care what comes after this. I know if I can get him in the presence of Jesus, he will be made whole.
Yes.
Next page. Mark chapter 5. Oh, man. There's this woman sitting over there, and she's got a flow of blood, an issue of blood. Nobody really knows what it was. I just know that for 12 years, she's been bleeding without stopping. You ever lost any blood? You ever lost a lot of blood? It just makes you weak and feeble, and you can't ever get any energy. You can't. And on top of all that, because of this condition, she was labeled as unclean.
Yep.
So she had to sit over there with the lepers and the people whose noses were falling off and their skin was rotting. She was in that crowd. And that was her lot in life. Something in life had made a definition and said, this is where you have to stay.
Okay.
Well, about that time, a guy named Jairus comes and finds Jesus and says, my wife is sick. If you'll come lay your hands on her, she'll be healed. So he grabs Jesus, and Jesus and Jairus are making their way through the crowd. Jesus doesn't even know that woman exists. He's going to Jairus' house. He's going to take care of his wife. And this little woman sat there and realized, you know what, I'm sitting here in this stench. I'm sitting here in this terrible identity that I hate. I've tried to go to doctors. I've tried everything I could. And not only have I spent all I've had, it didn't get better. It got worse. So she's got a choice. She can sit there and be bitter, or she can decide to be better. And she said within herself, and you got to understand something. When Jesus was next to Jairus, Jairus was a holy man. And if unclean people come in the presence of within so many feet of a holy man, they can be stoned to death. But this little woman sat there and said, you know what? I've heard stories. I've heard the people talking. I don't know if this is for me or not, but I'll tell you what I believe with all my heart. If I could just get close enough to touch the hem of his garment, I know I'll be made well. But what she really said is that I would rather die trying than sit in this place another day. And she crawled on her hands and knees through those dirty, muddy, manure-filled streets and through legs and finally got a hold of the garment of Jesus. Of course, you know the story. Jesus is being thronged. That means he's in danger of being crushed to death by the crowd. Yeah. And he's going, he goes, who touched me? And I'm thinking Peter's going, who isn't touching you? And Jesus said, no, you don't understand. I felt power leaving me.
That's good.
This woman got a hold of Jesus and pulled out of him what she needed. And he turned and said, who did this? And she said, I did. And immediately she was healed when she touched him. And he said, daughter, your faith did this. I didn't even know you were here. Next page.
That's so good.
In Mark chapter 10. There's a blind man sitting by the road. His name is Bartimaeus. Bartimaeus literally means the son of Timaeus. Timaeus means the same. So what we have here is a generational curse. It's been handed to this kid. He's born blind, and all he's ever known in his entire life is to sit by the road, look pitiful, and beg for money. And so here comes the entourage, and Jesus and the disciples are walking by, and there's the blind guys, and they've been there every day, all day. That's their job. That's their lot in life. That's their identity. Yes. But as they walk by, the blind man gets a whiff of what's going on. He hears something, and he begins to shout. But he didn't shout rabbi, and he didn't shout, teacher, and he didn't shout anything but this one phrase. Because when he said these words, it caught the ear of Jesus. Because everybody that Jesus encountered, nobody knew who he was.
Right.
Simeon and Anna figured it out, but everybody else was like, we're going to go to Jerusalem and start our campaign. He's like, you don't even get it. And here's a blind guy, and he starts shouting, Jesus, son of David. There's only one person that's the son of David. It's the Messiah.
Yes.
And they said, shh. And so he politely folded his hands. No, he did. He started shouting louder. Jesus, son of David. And finally the disciples come to him and say, he wants to see you. And the blind man said, me too.
Oh. That was bad.
He wants to see you. And so in these first two examples I saw where they, seeing their faith, they dug a hole in the roof and they done this incredible thing by lowering him down. And in the woman with the issue of blood, she made a declaration and crawled through there and got over that garment. And Jesus said, your faith has made you whole. But when I saw this story, he shouted the son of David, and then he said, come to him. And Jesus healed him. And I kept thinking, Lord, what is the, there's got to be a connection. And finally, verse 50 jumped out. When they called him, it said that he threw aside his garment. He threw aside his garment. What did that garment represent? Who he was. He was dressed in tattered clothes to look poor so that people would feel sorry for him. But even more importantly than casting off that identity was the fact that blind people don't throw things anywhere. They set them down and count the steps so they can find them again. Because blind Bartimaeus knew that when I get up from here, when I go see him, when I come back, I won't be blind anymore.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Because I'm just telling you, some of you are on the edge of greatness. Some of you are on the edge of something so new you can't even comprehend it. But your past, the things you think about yourself, the things that were said over you, the things that you've experienced, the mistakes you've made, and the victories you've lost are so ringing in your head and defining you today that God is saying, if you'll ever throw that thing off, if you ever trust me, come to my voice, I promise you what you left as, you won't return as.
Right. Yes.
Next page. That's my final page. It says it is time to discover the truth. We're going to go into this in the next few weeks in detail. But see, what I got to get in you first is that warrior spirit. I got to get in you the thing that was in Adam that said, I'm going to take dominion. Yeah. I'm not going to settle for anything but what God's best is, and I'm going to be open to whatever He tells me that is. But I'm going to have in me this idea that I cannot be defeated. When I played football, my dad told me, he said, here's what you do. You go and the guy across from you knock him on the ground, and you help him up, brush off his back, and say, I'll be right back. Because that's how it's got to be. That's how it's got to be. Some of you got to get it in your mind, I'm not quitting. I'm not going to lay down. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm not going to let pity and Grief overwhelmed me. I'm going to decide the rest of my life has been purchased by Jesus. I'm ready to go and take dominion and receive it. You discover the truth. You embrace the truth. You replace your old self-image with the image of Jesus Christ. It's time to be fully persuaded that God's promises are true and that they belong to you. It's time to tear a hole in the roof to get to Jesus. It's time to declare a thing and press through your circumstances to touch His garment. It's time to throw off the rags of bondage and be clothed in a garment of praise and be healed. Won't you bow your head?